Hey, welcome guys back to the channel. This is Maverick here, and right now we're going to be watching episode 17 of Fire Force. So, in the last episode, Giovanni began his assault towards Vulcan, I guess you could say, with the ulterior motive of gaining some kind of key that controls Amatsuru, the perpetual energy source that the Tokyo Empire is currently using. And one of Giovanni's, plans to get this kind of information and whatnot is with the use of a spy, which happens to be Elisa here, who Vulcan really trusted, thought she was family, but apparently not so. However, I do believe that with, some of the clues that were given last episode and whatnot, Lisa will probably come around and, revolt against Giovanni and actually join Vulcan's side as well. And not to mention, right now, Offer's a little bit tied up outside of the lab. Shinra's also a little bit out of it, so there needs to be somebody else that helps save Vulcan, right? So, is that going to be true or not? Let's get into the episode. Alright, let's begin in 3, 2, 1, play. I actually quite like this new opening that they've been doing in the second core. The opening introduction, I guess you could say. Amaterasu, alright. We get some flavor text and whatnot, and it's, it adds some stuff, right? Compared to the very beginning, where it's all like, there are 3 main causes. There are many causes of death, or whatnot. Self-immolation is one of them. Well, here's some budget-saving stuff right here. Is that... Oh. Is that the princess? Yeah. Huh? Whoosha. And by the way, I apologize if I sniff quite a bit within this episode. I was doing some cleaning today, so my nose is acting up. And hey, it was hid in that holographic machine. So considering Vulcan made that, he probably does know, right? Oof. He hasn't agreed yet, but well, as we can see from the opening, it's pretty much a foregone conclusion, right? Anyways, let me skip this real quick. And back. Hey, Vulcan. I like how they're still able to talk. Look at his nose. There she is. Yeah, that is accurate. Yay, we haven't seen her in action in a long time. What is this? Some eldritch stuff? Dang. Seriously, that's the best that Giovanni can do? Like some rocket punches? Huh? Chaos. There has to be like a self-destruct button here somewhere, right? Wow. What? Ooh. Nice hit. It's show. Ah. The fated encounter, Sho and Shinra. Can he actually recognize him though? It's been a while, right? I mean, sure, he's going to like the innate brotherly love and whatnot. Yeah, he knows. Could be. Yeah. Might want to see what he's wearing, Shinra. Oh, he knows. Wait, is his ability literally time stop? Ah, see. Hey, I did predict this before, right? You know, manipulating heat basically allows, you know, time in a sense is. Oh, hold on a second. Use the back of the knife. Wow, power overwhelming. He's basically speeding himself up, right? Time is literally, how quickly atoms move. Like when atoms essentially freeze due to low enough temperatures, that's the same as time stopping. And then if they get excited, when they heat up, that's when you can also say in a sense that that's when the his relative time increases. So basically using, and again, controlling fire, controlling temperature, using it as a sort of way to speed up or slow down time. Ah, so Lisa never actually... she's gonna die, isn't she? Oh. Okay, that was better than expected. I literally thought she was gonna be killed right there. Can anybody stop him? Hey, I recognize this sound. Yeah. Yeah, Joker's working with that Lich guy, right? Woo-hoo-hoo-hoo! Ah. This is the kind of battle I like to watch. Damn, this Joker dude is good. Was he hurt though? Well, almost, I guess. Almost. Man, having the power to manipulate time, that is OP. I guess, is there any way to counteract him? I guess if you stop him, well, I think it's really hard. If he's literally just speeding up his own, you know, himself, then it's really hard to do something against that. If, however, his abilities also sort of affect those around him instead, then there might be a way to break that. It should work by lowering the temperature of everyone else around him, right? If that was the case, then if they could heat themselves up and whatnot, I feel like that might be a way to break out of this sort of pseudo time stop. I don't think he was gonna die. Right, so after the end of all this, anyways, Vulcan is the engineer now of the 8th. Engineer acquired. No, you are suspicious, dude. But I don't think he's, like I said, he's not, I don't think he's working for the White Cloaks. Or just purely for the corporation. He probably has his own agenda. Unfortunately. Right. Right. Hmm? And he's gonna be like, oh, this is like a family. That looks good though. Yeah, that's probably what Vulcan likes. Hmm. Oh. uh, oh, why is it inactive? I'll join. Say goodbye. Yeah, it has to be the tomb, right? Yep. It's like, I'm sorry, but I think I can join these guys. Where's you though? Like, is he also now under the protection? I assume he's also under protection of the 8th. Probably helping around. A. Alright, that's the ending here. I think there might be a little bit after the ending. If there is, I'll show you guys. If not, I'll see you guys within the discussion part. And indeed, there is some more after the ending. About a minute's worth, so let's begin in 3, 2, 1, play. Worried about her lucky lecture or whatnot. Really? Iris is like, you're defiling the holy soul and whatnot. And that's literally it for this. All right. Alrighty, that was episode 17 of Fire Force, and, well, I wasn't expecting that, right? It didn't really go the way that I thought. Lisa didn't really turn, although we can definitely see that she is still very hesitant on what she's supposed to be doing, right? That's probably going to be some sort of hidden subplot that's going to come up later on down the road, but for now, she is still with the White Cloaks, whereas Vulcan has joined the 8th, right? Now, that's all nice and all, but I was really not expecting Sho to actually show up this early, right here, and also demonstrate some of his abilities as well, right? And yeah, I made this actually, I guess I can't really say prediction, but I was thinking out loud in episodes before, where I feel like the anime is really, if you think about it, fire abilities, it's rather one-dimensional, right? But the author is using a lot of different things, sort of, kind of related with heat, and expanding the amount of abilities that can actually be used, right? We see in episodes prior that, using heat to change the facial structure of people so that they can, they can change their face to be that of someone else. And that's a pretty creative way to use heat. We saw previously where heat can be turned into sound waves and then completely dispelled. That was also quite interesting as well. And of course, when you're talking about heat, there's this concept of slowing down and speeding up, right? Depending on the temperature, because kinetic energy is one of the things that constitutes this. And so I was thinking before, if there's this possibility to control the heat in other people as well as yourself, you can effectively speed up or slow down time, and that is exactly what Sho is doing here, right? He's using heat to control time. Fire, heat, whatever, right? It's the same thing. So the concept of absolute zero is when everything, not even an atom can move, when it's so cold that that atoms cannot move anymore. And so that is effectively some sort of time stop, right? And so I feel like that would be probably the easiest way to conceptualize this. Sho is basically making everything around him be devoid of heat, approach absolute zero, and that is why they all stop. Or it could be, something that he does to himself instead, and he's really just speeding up his everything that he has, so that it looks, because he's just traveling, he's just doing things so much faster than the human eye can perceive, human senses can perceive. It's essentially like time stop for him, right? Think of the Flash, right, from superhero comics. So, or it could be a combination of these two, right? And that is how he is controlling this. So definitely a very OP ability, but it seems that he's. And by the way, it's super cool as well. I really like his abilities. It's actually probably my favorite so far out of all the abilities that we've seen. Although the lieutenant's ability is also quite fun as well, where he can control the trajectory of. Well, actually, no. Hold on a second. The captain, Captain Shimon's ability is also quite cool as well, right? Well, I guess he himself is cool because he's just got that stock, he's got that steez, right? But just from a pure ability basis, what can be cooler than effectively stopping time, right? But with that said, he's not as invulnerable as he may seem initially, right? Because Joker showed up, and man, Joker is probably one of my favorite characters from this series so far. He's just, he's just a mystery, right? And yet he's, we can definitely see that his capabilities and whatnot are of the utmost high level, and we're not quite sure of what they're trying to do, what Joker and his maybe other people affiliated with him are trying to do, but it's just cool, right? And here we can see him going toe-to-toe with Sho, so absolutely his abilities are not to be underestimated as well. And not to mention, Sho also said this guy didn't even have an adult link. Now, I'm not exactly sure exactly what an adult link is, but at the very least we can assume that those people who have it will be naturally more proficient in their flame abilities, right, in their fire abilities. And so for Joker to keep toe-to-toe with him even without using this adult link abilities, that just speaks volumes as to how strong he is, right? And so yeah, I quite enjoyed this episode, and I enjoyed their fight as well. But beyond that, not really much else to say here. We got Vulcan joining, and yet we got the White Cloaks also pretty much accomplished what they wanted to do as well. They got the key to Amaterasu, the perpetual energy machine, and so I'm thinking, like, I talked about this actually the previous episode or the episode before that, and that is the aftermath of this situation should really push the story forward, right? Because Giovanni was originally the leader of the Captain of the Third, and yet he's working with the White Cloaks, but he's working with the Evangelist, which clearly the Emperor has already said that, it's going to be a top priority. They're going to stop the Evangelist at all costs, and that's an order given out to all the fire forces, right? So how is that going to change the political dynamic of this world right now once the Emperor finds out about this? And so the rest of the fire forces, are they going to I would assume that they would increase security around Amaterasu and also try to, start trying to dig up what the Third was actually doing and dig up stuff related with the White Cloaks. And considering that the Third actually has really good connections with Hajime Industries, is that also going to be investigated as well? That's something I would expect to see from the future episodes. But then again, at the end of this episode, they don't really seem all that interested in reporting these events back to their superiors, right? So, I don't know, maybe it's going to have nothing to do with that, but I would assume logically it would follow that kind of progression, right? And so there we go. That was episode 17 of Fire Force. Quite a good episode, I would say, in terms of what actually happened here. I would say that they probably saved on the budget here and there for a little bit, but mostly okay, right? At least there's nothing that I want to scream or yell about and whatnot. So overall, a nice little episode. So there we go. That's my review of Fire Force episode 17. I'll see you guys next week. Bye bye.